Fuck you!
Okay, I know this looks crazy, but I think I figured something out. It's midnight right now. Now, what you're looking at is 15 different things, but half of them are essentials and half of them are things that I'm experimenting with personally right now. And this would be a lot to take and a lot for my kidneys to take, honestly, if I was to take all of these in pill form. But what I think I figured out is that 9 out of these 15 are capsules. And the difference between capsules, soft gels, and tablets are capsules you can pull apart and there's powder inside that you could put into liquid form. And I think what I'm going to do moving forward, especially now that I'm trying a lot of different things, is that I'm going to take the 9 that are in capsule form. And this is probably going to be disgusting. And I'm probably going to have to force this down every single day. But I have 64 ounces of water that I am going to put the 9 capsules in one shake, not shake, but like it's literally just going to be water with a bit of lemon and pink Himalayan salt. And I'm going to mix all of it in together and I'm going to drink it over the course of the entire day. It's probably going to taste like shit, but in my opinion, and what makes logical sense in my mind, is the pros outweigh the cons in the sense that the pros are that I don't have to take 15 plus pills a day. And also the fact that my kidneys aren't going to be having to essentially take the blow from all of this different shit. And the majority of it can just be ingested straight into the bloodstream because liquid supplementation is always going to be more efficiently applied into the correct areas because liquid goes into the bloodstream more efficiently than pills, tablets, soft gels do. Because as I just mentioned, the pills, oftentimes your kidneys catch a lot of it. So that is how I think I'm going to be approaching this moving forward. It is about midnight right now. I'm about to make this shake. Oh yeah, doesn't that look fucking appetizing? I can't tell if this is 2025 and I'm actually trying to like get my health right and shit, or if this is like an 80s fucking disco party and I'm just about to do a bunch of fucking blow. This is honestly kind of nice. The pill stack is significantly smaller than it was, even though I added more pills. But look at this. Look at the size of this shit. Fuck me, dude. Also, genuine taste test of this insane concoction that I created the night before. I want to share with you something that I wrote during one of my cardio sessions a few days ago. It says, "We are all born as blank slates. You default to average. It's easy to be good, not that hard to be great, but in order to be exceptional, you continuously have to put yourself through hell. Whether the cards you're dealt at the beginning of your life put you through hell for you, or you voluntarily put yourself through hell, that is the only way to become exceptional. And very few are willing to put themselves through that kind of torture when their life is already great." And it's that last part in particular that really hits home for me. And I think it's going to hit home for a lot of you guys as well. Because, now don't get me wrong, I don't want to make assumptions or anything about your upbringing and what you've been through, but I genuinely believe that a lot of the people that want to be successful their upbringing, you know, it wasn't bad, but it wasn't great. It was somewhere like kind of in the middle. And I truly believe that that is one of the hardest places to be and one of the hardest places to become successful from. Hear me out. Don't get me wrong. Being in extremely unfortunate upbringing circumstances is difficult, but it gives you an endless amount of fuel and an endless amount of fire if you're willing to extract that out of yourself in order to reach the highest of highs. But when you're like in that middle ground where like, yeah, life sucks, but you're kind of comfortable and like you're making a little bit of money, but not too much, but you like enough to pay the bills, and like you never have to worry about putting food on the table or a roof over your head or anything like that. That is genuinely one of the scariest places to be. And it's where a lot of men find themselves, is that complacency zone. And that's what I want to talk about right now, is because that was me all of my life, and honestly still is to this day. Even though I'm making more money than I have ever made before in my life, and even though I've had an upbringing all my life of having exceptionally great parents. They weren't perfect, don't get me wrong, but they were great parents. They gave me everything I ever wanted. I always had food on the table. I always had a roof over my head. We were never struggling for paying the bills or anything like that. And it almost kind of subconsciously wired me into like this complacency zone where I had to break myself out of it. And now that I've broken myself out of it, and genuinely, no matter what I accomplish, or no matter how much money I make, or no matter how good my physique is, or no matter how good my life may be, it's never enough. And from the outside looking in, like some of my family members and like the people that I talk to like in my area or whatever, from the outside looking in, they're like, oh my God, you're doing so well. You just got out of college. You run your own store. You're making this much. You're doing this. You're doing that. You look great, like everything. And to me, it's like, I'm just getting started. And I feel like a lot of people are like that as well, is to where they like everyone compliments them on whatever accomplishment it might be, and you are thankful, you congratulate, or you thank them for the kind words and the compliments or whatever, but in the back of your mind you're just like, you don't even fucking know, like this is just the beginning. And a lot of people shy away from that, and a lot of people aren't willing to be able to express that, especially to like their family members and stuff, because I have, and the response is depending on who your parents are, but for my parents in particular, speaking from personal experience, it's not the most comfortable conversation, I'm gonna be honest. Like, I genuinely told my mom a few months ago, about 6 months ago, I told her, I was like, listen, I'm gonna retire you. I'm gonna make how much your husband made in a year. I'm gonna make that in a month, and then I'm gonna make it in a week, and then I'm gonna make it in a day, and then I'm gonna make your salary, your yearly salary, I'm gonna make that in a month, that in a week, that in a day. Like, and she was extremely like, she smiled, and like she was happy that she saw that level of ambition out of me, especially from like the past that I've told her about. And like, because I never told her about any of my past when it came to like the drugs and the alcohol and the underage drinking and all that shit, and like the party lifestyle that I used to do. I never told her anything about that until after the fact, and I opened up to her about that. But she was happy from that aspect, but at the same time, I could, like, I love her to death, but at the same time I could just tell that she was like, oh, that's cute, like it's cute, you know. And I got a completely different response from my dad. My dad was like, that's not real, like you can't do that, like that's not for like us, like in terms of like that's not for people like us, like that's the anomaly, like that's not achievable. And like seeing that type of like closed-minded mindset when it comes to what you can actually accomplish in your life, it's sad to see, especially from people that raised you from the time that you were born. And I get it, you know, like I understand not every single person is going to have that level of ambition. Not every single person is going to want to achieve that level of success. They may want to, but as I always say, they're not willing to do what it takes in order to be able to reap the rewards of that success that they want. Because talk is cheap. Talk is the cheapest form of currency known to man. Action is what actually yields the results. And going back to the original point, you genuinely do default to average. Like, when it comes to school, you genuinely could not ever try during school. They will push you through. You have to do like some absolutely retarded shit for you to like get kicked out of school for whatever reason. But in terms of like, if you just show up, they'll push you through. That's just how the systems work. And the next part of that, which is you default to average, it's easy to be good. In the world nowadays, it is genuinely so easy to just be good at something because the bar is genuinely so fucking low. It is unbelievable because so many people, 99% of the people just default to average. And from there, it's not that hard to be great because I would say not 99%, but I would say probably 90% default to average. The top 5% after that are the great ones. And to be great, it's honestly not that easy because most people would say that even at 24 years old right now, at least in the environment that I've been raised up in, I have a great life. But as I said before, it's not even like, I'm just getting started. It's not even close to the potential that I have inside of me of what I'm actually going to achieve over the next coming decades. It's not even close. And then the step above that is that in order to be exceptional, you have to put yourself through hell. And the environment thing is the biggest thing and genuinely the biggest determining factor behind whether or not you become exceptional or not. Because like I said before, some people's environments, unfortunately, but also fortunately, when used properly, can turn them into absolute killers that achieve some of the greatest things known to man. Is because that shitty environment, that shitty upbringing, when used as fuel, when used properly, is endless motivation and endless fire, an eternal flame deep inside of you that will allow you to do more than anyone else, put in more work than anyone else, and do genuinely whatever it takes, like completely disregarding every single aspect of your life, including your own physical and mental health, in order to get what you want, in order to get yourself out of that situation. That is genuinely one of the biggest benefits of having a shitty upbringing. But the thing is about it is that most people in that state of mind, when they're in those shitty environments, they don't think like that. But the few that do are some of genuinely, in the modern era right now, some of the most influential figures that you can name. Whoever just popped into your head right now probably had a shitty upbringing and used it as fuel in order to become monumentally successful. But like I said, that middle ground, that complacency zone right in the middle, where shit's not too bad, but it's not too good, you're like right in the middle, that is one of the most dangerous places to be. And it's where a lot of men get stuck. And my solution to get out of that is the second part of that quote, which is that you have to voluntarily put yourself through hell. You have to voluntarily put your back against the wall so that you can extract that eternal flame out of you in order to do whatever it takes, in order to put in more work than everyone else, in order to sacrifice anything and everything in order to get what you want. And that is what I have just done. Genuinely, in the last 24 hours, I have lost about 60% of the money that I had to my name. I have student loans to pay off, right? I was fortunate enough to have the first 4 years of my undergrad completely paid off. The last 2 years, which was for my master's degree, I took out a loan. of roughly $42,000. I have gotten that down to the point of just shy of above $20,000. And in the last 24 hours, I've been paying it off ever so slightly ever since I graduated in May. And last night, I had the bright idea of dumping over half of the money that I have to my name into that loan, on top of the other expenses that I have. I just got this car in my name because I just switched cars. I just got the new title, the new plates, all that shit. I went to the BMV, blah, 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 all that shit. That was another, I went to the insurance company as well, got myself on my own insurance, got off my parents' insurance. That in total accumulated to almost $1,000 on top of the thousands of dollars that I just dumped into an invisible funnel, which is the loan, which is all bullshit, but that's a topic for another day. And from the outside looking in, my parents in particular, they're like, why are you doing this? Like you need to like incrementally put it down. Like, don't put yourself in this kind of position. And the thing that I wanted to say so bad, but I'm going to tell it to you because, like I said, a lot of these people don't understand, but I'm going to tell you because I know that you understand this, is that I did it for a reason. I did it for this exact reason that I'm talking about in the quote. I'm voluntarily putting my back against the wall. I'm voluntarily putting myself through hell in the sense that I have other expenses that I have to pay on top of this. I'm slowly but surely coming off of all the expenses that my parents have paid me over the course of my entire life up until this point, because I was in that middle ground, like I said before. I'm slowly but surely having them give me all of my own personal expenses, my car payment, my phone payment. I'm eventually going to move out. I'm planning on purchasing my girlfriend's engagement ring in the next couple of months. Like, that is not cheap shit. And on top of that, I'm not making an incredible amount of money. But from the outside looking in, oh yeah, you're making good money, whatever. But like, with all this shit going around, the amount of money that I'm making compared to the amount of money that is constantly like I'm voluntarily taking out of my possession in order to put my back against the wall, I'm not gonna lie, it's scary, but that's exactly what I want. Because us as men perform best when our back is against the wall. When we have no other place to go, we look to our left, we look to our right, we try to back up, our back is against the wall. We have no other direction but to go forward. And when you are in that position, you have one question to ask yourself. Where do you go from here? Do you cower? Do you put your tail back in between your legs and you start asking your parents to pay for shit again? Do you put your tail in between your legs and tell your girlfriend, we'll just put the, like, I'll propose later, even though I promised you that I was going to propose during this time frame? Do you put your tail between your legs and do you cower and say, even though you told your parents you were going to pay your loan off at this time and you made that promise to yourself and you're a man of your word and every single word that comes out of your mouth, you mean what you say, even though you said all of that, oh no, I'm just going to incrementally, just slowly but surely pay the minimum payments on my loan? Or are you going to man the fuck up and figure it out? And I'm choosing option 2 every single time because I love the feeling of having my back against the wall, because for my entire life I never had it. I've only had it when I voluntarily placed my back against the wall. And although it is a scary feeling, it is necessary in order to become exceptional. In order to achieve the things that I want to achieve, in order to become the man that I will become, this is what is required, is putting your back against the wall, giving yourself no other option but to figure it out, or else you are monumentally fucked. If I don't figure this shit out, I'm fucked. My word will not mean shit to the people that mean the most to me in my life right now. My word won't mean shit if I don't figure this out. And that is exactly why I did it. Because the people that I have said these things to, and now you, which I care about each and every single one of you guys, I don't just say this shit just to say it. I'm not just talking out of my ass just to talk out of my ass. I'm saying it because I am a man of my word. And if I don't fulfill onto that, then I look like the bitch. And you guys will lose respect for me. My girlfriend will lose respect for me. My parents will lose respect for me. Every single person in my life that I care about will lose respect for me if I don't figure out a way to pull this shit off. And that right there is exactly what I need because of that complacency zone that I talked about. That is exactly what I need in order to just give me, not that I don't already have the endless fuel already, but it's gonna give me that level of urgency. And when you have that level of urgency, it's like your mind just like goes into hyper like overdrive, and your mind's like, fuck, like we gotta figure this shit out. You start thinking of all these different things. Like your mind just starts going a million miles a minute trying to figure out all these different ways to pull it off. And when you don't have that urgency, your mind's like, we could try this, but it's a little bit risky. Maybe we should just wait till it's a bit more comfortable. You know, we could try this, but like, what if this happens and it goes wrong? And like, but when you have that urgency, your mind's like, I don't care how risky it is. I don't care what happens as a result of it. As long as it yields some sort of result that gets us closer to pulling this shit off, fuck it, let's go. And that's where I'm at right now. I'm genuinely like, not on the breaking point, but I'm on that edge that I talk about, that red line in every aspect of my life. My training, red line. My nutrition, red line. Like I'm essentially starving myself right now during this hypercut, other than the refeed day the other day that I talked about. And every single aspect of my life, financially, just now, just the story that I just told you right now, red line. I just put myself in the red line in the sense that I have no idea where the fuck I'm gonna pull this money from over the course of the next coming months. Because the job that I'm currently working, running the store, it's not paying the amount that is gonna be required in order to do all of these things. So where do you go from here? And the lesson behind all of this, which is what I'll leave you with, is that if your life is currently comfortable, and this is going to require you to look yourself in the mirror and be brutally honest with yourself. If your life is comfortable right now, if you genuinely, like I said before, if you have food on the table, a roof over your head, you know, you're making a decent amount of money, you got enough to pay the bills, you're not struggling at all, but you know, you want to make more. If you're in that middle complacent zone right now, find a way. It could be financially, it could be physically, it could be in a relationship that you have with a woman, like whatever it might be. Find a particular aspect of your life that you can voluntarily do something to put your back against the wall so that you have no other option but to figure it out in that particular aspect of your life so that you can have that eternal fire and that urgency in order to do whatever is required in order to figure it out so you can get that result that you want. Because a lot of us say that we want the results. We say that we want to make this much money. We say that we want this level of physique. We say that we want a beautiful relationship. We say that we want these things, but like I said, talk is cheap. What are you gonna do about it? Where do you go from here? And when your back is against the wall, you have nowhere else to go but forward. You can either cower or you can figure it out. It's up to you. And by voluntarily placing your back against the wall like this, you will find a side of yourself that, quite honestly, up until probably the past, I would say 6 to 8 months, I never even knew that I had. The version of me 6 months ago, the level of work that I'm putting in, the level of intensity that I put into each and every single thing that I do on a day-to-day basis would probably kill that version of me 6 months ago. But now, it's baseline. And the reason that it's baseline is because I have no other fucking option but to figure it out. And when you're in that zone, of having your back against the wall, you are a very dangerous man. Not dangerous in the sense of a harm or a threat to society, but you are very dangerous in the sense that you don't give a fuck. you will do whatever it takes. You will sacrifice whatever amount of sleep is required. You will forget to eat sometimes because you are so immersed into the work that you're doing, and you refuse to leave that chair, to leave that gym until you are fully fucking exhausted and you have done everything that you can that day. And then you wake up tomorrow and you do it again, and you do it again, and you do it again, and you do it again until you get what you want. And then when you get what you want, you look around at the top of the mountain and you see where you came from at the bottom of that mountain. You look around at the top of that mountain and you realize there's another mountain to climb. And you realize that you're at the bottom. Once you hit the top of that mountain, you look up and you realize that there's a whole nother mountain to climb, and you're at the bottom of another mountain. And that is the evolution of becoming the best version of yourself, of becoming the 100% version of yourself, the 100% man. That is the journey. That is the process. That is the never-ending battle within yourself in order to get there. And in order to get there, you have to live in the red line. And one of the aspects of living in the red line is voluntarily, if your circumstances and your environment haven't already done it for you, you have to voluntarily place your back against the wall, so you have no other option but to figure it out. Cool, that was a good one. I enjoyed that one. That one got me fired the fuck up, and I hope it got you fired up as well. But that is all I got for you for episode 6. Make sure you drop some Q&A questions down in the comments below. I'm still waiting on the first Q&A question, but obviously as I continue to put out more and more of these episodes and they gain more and more traction, the views are going to start climbing, the Q&A questions are going to drop. So I'm going to ask for them in every single video, no matter how many people watch them, because I understand the process, and getting to where we are now, getting to where we want to go from the position that we are in now, is going to be a long process, but it is going to be worth it, because anything worthwhile and anything worth doing and accomplishing as a man is going to be difficult, and it is going to take time. I love you boys, and I'll see you in the next one.